Stop texting me. I hate you. Suddenly I felt nauseous. Tears welled up in my eyes. My hands were shaking so much I almost dropped my phone. But I didn't drop it. I felt this pain and regret and hopelessness well up in my chest. I've been texting Eric, my boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend, for weeks, begging for his forgiveness, begging him to talk to me, begging for another chance to fix things, begging for any kind of response at all, any indication that he still loved me, any indication that I mattered to him, begging for anything except the message he sent, the message saying he hated me. So I didn't drop my phone. I let out a sob of agony and threw it across the room. It bounced off the door frame and crashed onto the hardwood floor. It landed face up. I still have my favorite picture from when things were so good as my wallpaper. Both of us were smiling and happy at his sister's wedding. But we didn't look happy now. The screen was shattered, and a spiderweb of glass scarred our faces and blocked out our smiles. And I watched as my broken phone flickered out and died right there on the floor. At the time, I thought my chances of Eric ever fighting to have me back died with it. But I couldn't have been more wrong. Hi, my name is Jennifer, and I'm not a relationship expert or an author or a psychiatrist or anything like that. I'm just a woman who had something amazing with my boyfriend Eric, who messed it up horribly, who almost lost the man I love forever, who got him back for good, even though I thought it was impossible. And if you just stick with me and watch this video all the way through, I'm going to show you how to get your ex back too, even if he says he hates you, even if you cheated, even if you pushed him away, even if you think you've tried everything to get him back like I did. And the crazy part is, you'll get him back just by following a few simple steps, and by sending a few seemingly innocent texts, created by a man I personally consider to be a certified relationship genius. Now, if you're thinking, I already texted him and it blew up in my face, I understand. I was there too. Now I wake up every day wrapped in Eric's strong arms, so grateful I didn't let my own anger and sadness keep me from learning what I'm going to teach you right here, right now. So take a deep breath and listen. Woman to woman, I promise you'll be happy that you did. After that horrible text from Eric, I'm sure you can imagine how awful it felt. I don't think I'd ever been really depressed before that moment. And somehow having my phone shattered and broken was a relief. It made it impossible for me to text him back, to lash out at him and say I hated him too, to tell him how furious I was that he gave up on us, to do anything I could to get the attention he refused to give me. That night I found myself at the computer with a half-empty bottle of wine on my desk and a devastating sadness at my heart. For 3 hours I just sat there staring at old pictures of us and reading old romantic emails he'd sent me and just cried and cried. I remembered when we met, how he was talking to a friend of mine when we locked eyes and he melted me with a smile. Our first kiss, the incredible chemistry, how he held me so close. Like he was afraid I'd get away and he'd do anything to make me his. I knew right then this was the man I had no choice but to take seriously. A man I knew I could fall in love with. I remember the hikes we took, the trips we went on together, the incredible connected sex we had, where I felt like the most important, most beautiful woman in the world. I remembered how he held me and let me cry on his shoulder when my dog died. Staying up late, talking about the future, coming up with silly names for the kids we both wanted so much. And I remembered the not-so-good times, too, when I love you became automatic, something you say because it's something you say, when we started running out of things to talk about and just dove into our phones at dinner, when the spark went out of his eyes when he looked at me, when he stopped telling me how beautiful I was, how lucky he felt to be with me. And I remembered the night I ruined everything, a night with another bottle of wine, and a guy from work who'd flirted with me for years and finally said all the right things. I was so vulnerable and desperate to feel that passion again. And I made a drunken mistake that destroyed the relationship Eric and I had. And I remembered the screaming and the fights and the guilt and the shame.